In the past 70 plus years, Batman and Superman have developed a pretty awesome friendship. However, when these characters are not sipping coffee for a How It Should Have Ended episode, or taking selfies for weird variant covers, they're usually punching each other in the face. So in honor of Batman v Superman coming out in just a few short weeks, let's go ahead and count down the top 5 times these two icons have went toe-to-toe. Also, if these are books that you haven't read yet and you plan on reading in the near future, some of this could be considered spoilers, so this is a fair warning. Now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into this. Starting off with number 5, we have the fight that took place in Injustice Gods Among Us, Year 1, Volume 2. Now this fight wasn't all out. Batman was just trying to buy some time so that his computer can analyze a pill that gave people superhuman abilities. This was a really dark moment for the story. In fact, Superman actually resorted to torturing Bruce Wayne right after he broke his freaking back. While the conflict between Bruce and Clark was really great, it wasn't the best part of this fight. The best part about it was actually the ending. When Superman had his back turned, Alfred took this super pill and then proceeded to beat the shit out of Superman. It was awesome! Next is the beginning of Batman Endgame. One cool thing about this fight is before he took on Superman, he took on all of the core members of the Justice League. Batman used these micro red sun gauntlets and a totally kick-ass giant mech suit, but still barely managed to get away. Superman drops a freaking building on him, and Batman's last hope was kryptonite gum. Yes, kryptonite gum, which I have to give Scott Snyder credit for. To be honest, that is really creative and very interesting. Coming in at number 3, we have Superman Red Sun. Red Sun is an Elseworld story. It's kind of a what-if scenario that tells the story of a Superman whose rocket landed in Russia rather than Smallville. Now this alternate version of Batman is pretty badass. Just look at his hat. It's so cool. But anyway, his hat aside, this is a very brutal Batman. His plan was to imprison Superman under red sun lamps until he eventually died. But when his plan doesn't work, he blows himself up to avoid being enslaved by this tyrant Superman. Needless to say, this version of Batman was pretty badass. Now the next 2 fights on my list take place in comic books that if you've never read them, you need to. They take place in Batman titles, so if you're a Batman fan to any extent, I would definitely recommend these books. They're fantastic, they're great. Just go to Amazon and pick up one of the trade paperbacks. I guarantee you will be satisfied. Anyway, with that out of the way, at the number 2 spot, we have Batman Hush. Now, Batman Hush is great for a lot of reasons. Jim Lee's amazing artwork, Jeff Loeb's incredible storytelling, and of course, the battle between Batman and Superman. I like this fight because it really highlights what a master strategist Batman is. Batman has studied Superman, he knows what a threat he can potentially be, and this fight proves that no matter what, Batman is prepared. I also like how it acknowledges the fact that the only reason Batman stood any chance at all is because Superman was holding back. While he was fighting Batman, Superman was also fighting the mind control that Poison Ivy had on him. I think a lot of people need to realize that if Superman wanted to, he could easily take down Batman. I'm gonna read this quote, and it basically summarizes why Batman stands any chance at all in the first place. If Clark wanted to, he could use his super speed and squish me into the cement. But I know how he thinks. Even more than the kryptonite, he's got one big weakness. Deep down, Clark's essentially a good person, and deep down, I'm not. Now that was taken from Batman number 612, which is the 4th issue into the Batman Hush story arc. Honestly, Jeff Loeb just completely summarized perfectly, the battle between Batman and Superman, and why Batman has a chance in the first place. I just think that Jeff Loeb was on point with that quote, and he really knew what he was talking about, and I think that's probably one of the most badass quotes in the history of Batman comics. Last, but certainly not least, is the fight that took place in issue number 4 of The Dark Knight Returns. Where do I start with this? The Dark Knight Returns is a timeless book. It's been 30 years since that book has been published, and it's one of the main inspirations for a big blockbuster movie. The actual fight itself was the perfect ending to not only this book, but Batman himself. It was creative, intense, just overall, it was fantastic. I feel like anything my stupid self could say would not actually describe how great The Dark Knight Returns is. So I will just say this. If you haven't read it, go buy it. It's freaking awesome. Alright guys, so that is going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Have a great day, guys. Peace.